2008. I'll make that in form of a motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Your Honor, if I could.
Yes.
I had inquired about this fee last week, and it is eligible to be used for school bus stops and crossings and turnarounds, and also for school bus stop signs. So it can defray some of the cost.
And that's for the road and bridge?
Yes, sir.
Fee? Okay. Go ahead. I'm
So
sorry.
that would be for the child safety fee, the $1.50.
I see. Okay. Well, let's look at that and put it on the next agenda and consider that again.
Because Judge, we do get calls about it all the time about bus stops.
Yeah.
Buses not being able to turn around.
It's school zones, especially the turnarounds.
Let's look at that before September 10th. Okay, make that motion. I think you seconded the motion.
Yes.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 16, consider to approve Johnson Controls performance contract from original punch list issues and accept the work as complete to release the final payment. Mr. Gary.
Judge and Commissioners, I'm afraid this agenda item is not worded properly. I think what happened is this is draft language from last week or the week before, and I had changed this language, and I think somebody picked up the draft language and put it back in here. The Johnson Controls performance contract was approved almost 2 years ago, so that's why this language is interpreted.
I see.
So I would ask that we take no action at this time. Also, as far as the punch list issues are concerned, it really should have nothing to do with the Johnson Control Performance Agreement at this time, because it has been financed through a lease agreement, and we need to make payment to the lease company. Johnson Control's been paid by the financing company already. So, but if we could take no action at this time, we can rework this and get it on the agenda next week.
Would there be sufficient time for us to take this up on Wednesday? We need to release that payment.
Yes, we do need to release that payment. It's well overdue. We're already in the payback stage to the investment company, but the investment company wants to get out of the picture now, and they're holding that final payment pending my release of that payment to Johnson Control.
Mr. Gary, is the agenda item worded such that we could go ahead and release the payment?
There's no reason for us not to release the payment at this point, Your Honor. I mean, we just need an agenda item to address the punch list, and they really should be unrelated at this point.
So we could release the payment
Yes.
today. Just look at the punch list items as a separate agenda.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. I make the motion we release the final payment to Johnson Controls.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Christian.
Judge, I'm happy with the work so far.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Christian, are we still talking about, what punch list are we talking about? Because I brought examples today of work I'm not happy with. And if that work that I'm not happy with is not on this punch list, then what punch list is it on? And when will we be addressing that punch list?
The work you're referring to is on the punch list. There's a contract in place to have several hallways, the conduit mounted above the drop ceiling, and I believe that'll take care of your concerns on the bottom floor, Commissioner.
On the ground floor, as you would call it, it'd be the second floor of the building on the ground floor, as it's called.
No, sir, the basement floor.
Basement floor, they're going to put in the ceiling. What about the upper floors?
The upper floors, as far as I know, Commissioner, we can't do that due to the hard existing ceiling.
Well, if the court will indulge me a second, I'd like to show a few pictures just so everybody can see the quality of work that we're punching today. Because I went to the Cotton Belt and took some pictures. Here's an interesting routing of some conduit. This is in the main hallway of the Cotton Belt building. This is how it's all routed together, and as you can see, there's some loose wires hanging out. I believe this location is near the tax office. This is the main hallway toward the end. If you're looking toward the doors that would be on the main parking lot side, and as you can see, this conduit is run overland there, if you care to call it that. It's spaghetti in and out of itself. And I'm not sure what the excuse for this was. I'm not sure whether the Johnson Controls headquarters building is wired just like this or not, but I'll bet it's not. Some more of these junction boxes. If you'll notice above, there's a hole in the wall with some exposed wires that has not been closed up to date that I'm aware of. more of the quality work that we're punching off on that's going through the hall and in through the wall there on the ceiling level. Here's some more interesting routing of some conduit there that's in the main public areas of our building. And my main point here is that our people are going into that building to pay their taxes, and they look at this, and I wonder, you know, if they're wondering, is that the best we can do? We're paying this company good money to be doing this work and punching off on this, and I'm not real sure about it, but I'm thinking it could be done better, or could have been hidden up into a drop ceiling, or gone on up into the ceiling where there's plenty of room to run conduit. There's more right by the junction of the hallways by the tax office, where there's more of this surface conduit hanging down and being run and so on as part of this system. One of the quality installations of a fire alarm there, as you can see how it goes up through the ceiling. There's some more wiring that's just jammed through the wall there. That's near the tax office, I believe, in one of their rooms. This is also in one of the rooms of the tax office. All this wiring that's just helter-skelter all over the building. There's an exposed junction box where the cover wasn't put on the junction box, and exposed wiring in the building. And there's a real good example of some exposed wiring in the building there that we're supposed to punch off on today. And we're back to the start. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Anyway, I just wanted the court to know what we're punching off on here today is good quality work and done.
We, it's my understanding we will address the punch list issues the next meeting, or we can do that at the next meeting. If you'll help me with that language, Mr. Gary, we can do that.
Yes, Your Honor, because they really are two separate issues, and we can continue to address the punch list issue.
And Mr. Christian, there was some discussion with the contractors about possibly getting them to paint the conduit so that it will blend in a little bit better. That's one of the things we talked
Yes,
about. You can put in false ceilings to cover it at a greater expense, correct?
Correct.
Are the representatives from Johnson Controls going to be here at any time? I know they were here lots of times during when we were doing this and going to give them the contract. I haven't seen them lately.
Commissioner, I have Mr. Harry Romine from Johnson Controls here if you'd like to speak with him.
Good. Well, I'm glad he got to see what I think of their quality work.
And Judge, just to let you know, we talked about this, I know, almost a year ago.
Yes.
I talked to Steve about this, and I was told that they were going to try to paint over it to make it blend in with the building, and so it's still taking time.
Okay.
And a few weeks ago, we talked about some problems down in the tax office. Have those been addressed, Mr. Barber? If they have not,
Well, Mr. Barber, I'd like to sit down with you and Steve and then Charlie Baker and folks from the Sheriff's Department, so we can try to put our heads together on this. And the next meeting, which won't be next Monday, but the following week, we'll hope to have a resolution on the punch list issues. Okay.
Mr. Christian, would you please communicate to Johnson Controls that after they have seen these objections by the court today, that they need to provide in writing, what they're going to do to get this corrected, where the moving target needs to stop.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Christian. Number 17, consider approval of the salvage yard license. I'm sorry, Danny, let me take something out of order here. We actually have a public hearing scheduled for 9:30. Agenda item number 2, it's a public hearing regarding the placement of no parking signs on County Road 2144.
Actually, I think Mr. Smith asked for that. I believe Constable Smith asked for the no
Oh, is that
parking
right?
signs to be
Okay.
placed up there. He might be able to enlighten the court as to the...
Mr. Smith, did you ask for those no parking signs?
Yes, I did. I've had many complaints because this is right on the city limits of Troop, but there's some condos, and some of the people live in the condos are continuously parking on the right of way. The land